Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu and Ramadan Kareem to everyone. I'm going to go ahead in this tutorial and explain to you all just exactly the history of the Ansaar law community that I grew up in, as well as the 3 different stages in remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for those who oftentimes get confused. Okay, now let's begin with who is an Ansar? The Ansar Allah community was a community that was given birth in the 60s. It was given birth by various people that had recently learned of Islam through an imam that titled himself at the time Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi. This was his title. And when he introduced Islam to the community, you must understand that during that time, the major Islam movement at the time was the I believe it's the Wardi Fard groups and the Elijah Muhammad. It was very few that were out there at the time. And subhanallah, Allah opened the door for him to learn Islam, and from there he was able to cultivate or to bring or draw near a group of people to Islam. So it's very beautiful. They of course did not grab onto the culture of the Arabs. They held on to the real meaning of Islam, as far as unity, as far as the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as far as dress code, fasting of Ramadan. They were able to adhere to exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing when you are a Muslim or a mu'min. Exactly how they titled themselves Ansar or how it began, I'm not quite sure about that. I never actually asked my father this, but the title was Ansar. Now, I am an African American. I oftentimes am asked if I'm an Arab. Am I Arab? Am I from any other countries? Am I from Barbados? Many people feel that I have certain features that that match a lot of the people they know, but I'm not. I am African American. I was born in Islam, alhamdulillah, and many people are surprised when they learn that I learned Arabic Fusha at an early age. To be exactly correct, I learned Arabic before I learned English. Okay, so if you can imagine, in Brooklyn, New York, Bushwick Avenue, there are about over 300 children that learn the Arabic Fusha before they learned English. This is barakat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I was one. I had to learn the importance of the 3 stages of remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they were the following. Okay, stage number 1 would be dhikr Allah. Now, dhikr Allah comes when one sits and properly remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names, his all 99 names, his attributes, and it is done repeatedly, sometimes with dhikr beads. I don't have my beads with me right now, but sometimes it's done with dhikr beads. And this is what you would, this is how you would see the Ansar law do the stage 1 of remembrance, dhikr Allah. Stage 2 in remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is through chants. We were often, often is not even the word for it, but we chanted daily. We chanted daily. And the chants are the examples of what you see on my tutorial. La ilaha illallah, the 99 names of Allah. What you're doing is you're embracing Allah by His attributes, by His character, such as, for example, when you're praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are certain words that are said even in prayer, in which you gather together the abundance and the oneness and the beauty and the characteristics and the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all in one, all in one. So chanting is one. The way that we chanted, I felt held very dear to my heart, because chanting provided in a atmosphere where it was of unity. It collectively brought a form of closeness, a form of ties to the children of the Ansaar community. So if you can imagine, as we rise in the morning and we say our prayers, we would then make wudu. We would all sit in a large circle, and this took only 1 hour to do. And we would dhikr Allah from, we start with the prayer, the morning prayer all together, and then from there, it was the chanting of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, which is another form of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was done as a mandated thing. And so the reason, just in case you guys wonder, why do I post the different chants that I have on my channel? The reason being is I felt like I learned a beautiful, beautiful art that the Sufis had been doing for centuries, and that is chanting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name in unity. And for some reason, not too many people practice it, so it's pretty much, I don't want to say it's lost, but I want to rekindle that and remind the Ansars. And the third stage, stage number 3, would be the Quran. Quran for the Ansars were not only recited during prayer, but it was also recited as soon as we came out of school. We learned Surah Al-Baqarah all the way to Surah Al-Nas, and there's no exception on you not participating in knowing your studies of Quran. And again, the idea that you can gather in how we did it was as a group of children sitting. All of the ages are separated. Everything's based on the age, and you're in a circle. And the masjid, a huge masjid. And the student, which is basically, if you could think of it, if I was the age group of 8 and 9-year-olds, I would have someone that's 15, that is the head of the group, that is actually that who we have to recite after the proper pronunciation of the Quran. Once we learn this from the Arabic sound, because there's a style in how you sound out the Quran, we then learned the English meaning. And the English meaning did not come with the Arabic lessons, because remember, we learned Arabic first before we learned English. So it took a little time. But alhamdulillah, this method of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala done collectively in a community, I feel has such great benefits, especially for children that are just coming into Islam, for new people, not just children, but anyone that's new, that's coming to Islam. This is a great way to learn it, is through groups. As an individual, of course, you can learn it, and that would, of course, mean that you be diligent in your lessons by not missing one day of sitting there early in the morning for Fajr and dhikr Allah. Now that we're in the month of Ramadan, I find myself reading the Quran more than anything. Sometimes I read the same Quran for 1 week so that I can fully understand it, because there's always something to learn. SubhanAllah, always something to learn in Islam. So that would be stage number 3, and that would be remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through recitation of the Quran. Many people ask me what happened to the Ansars. They're no longer around. It's as if they disappeared.